Today we're going to talk about the pedestal grinder, and we're going to go over how to turn this on, what the different parts of this piece of equipment are, how to use this safely. The first thing I want to talk about is loose clothing. We need to make sure that we don't have loose clothing that this can grab onto and pull us into the pedestal grinder. When using a pedestal grinder, we'll never be using gloves. Never. Before you turn on a pedestal grinder, you will not stand in front of the stones. Always stand to the side of the machine prior to turning it on. For this machine, our on-off switch is here. So let's identify the parts of the pedestal grinder. We have our abrasive stone. We have our tool rest, spark guard. There's a wheel guard on both sides. The on-off or power switch. The best protection for grinding on a pedestal grinder is both our safety glasses and a full face shield. These need to be on before you turn the machine on. If the grinding stone becomes loaded with any material, it will be necessary to dress the stone. And after dressing the stone, we will need to check the clearance from the tool rest to our abrasive stone and make an adjustment if necessary. The tool rest should not be closer than 1/16 of an inch to the abrasive stone and should not exceed 1/8 of an inch. Do not make any adjustment to the tool rest or the spark arrestor while the grinding stone is spinning. The use of excessive part pressure against the grinding wheel on a pedestal grinder or bench grinder can cause the wheel to break, your hand to slip and hit the wheel. Grinding is a process of removing material by a cutting action. The side of the grinding stone is not designed to be used for grinding. Small parts such as this need to be grabbed with a vise or a clamp before grinding. We would never try to hold this and grind it on the abrasive wheel. Our fingers are getting much too close to the stone. Use some sort of clamp to hold the part we would be grinding. If the abrasive wheel shows any damage, please get your instructor immediately and do not turn the machine on. Abrasive stones, grinding wheels are rated. They're rated at a maximum operating speed. Never install a wheel that is not rated at the correct revolutions per minute.
One of the things you want to be careful of is before you ever mount a wheel, you want to make sure that there's no fractures or cracks in it, that it's not damaged. It could happen in shipping. Somebody could have dropped it, put it back on the shelf, and never really understood that there could be something dangerous now. So it's called a ring test. And just suspend the wheel on a piece of bar stock and then tap it with a piece of metal. And you should be able to hear kind of like a ring, not as crystal clear as a bell, but what you don't want to hear is kind of a thud. If you do, that means that there's a fracture in the wheel and it should not be mounted. You don't want to have something that has a crack in it spin up to a few thousand RPM, because all this is glue and grit, and that's all that's holding it together again. So if you should come across one that may be questionable, notify your instructor.